What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Chance of Bishop Show, episode 27 of our MLB The Show 24 Road to the Show, featuring none other than Chance Bishop. And we are getting into a brand new season here with Chance and the New York Mets. And honestly, there's been a lot of talk about the Mets. You know, over the offseason, there was a bit of a debacle, I would say, over about $300,000. Okay. Chance wanted $3 million. The Mets wanted to offer him like 2.7. Chance, no, I'm not signing for 2.7. I want 3. They went to arbitration. Chance says, all right, you're going to waste my time. I'm going to waste your time. I want $4 million. So the Mets, Chance cost the Mets an extra $1.3 million because they didn't want to sign a $300,000 addition to the 2.7. So that's what they won the nickel and dime over, was $300,000. Wasn't like Chance was offering for millions here. He just won a couple extra thousand. Nice little whole number. Y'all think there. Chance, he's projected to lead the team in RBIs and WAR there, and he wasn't worth $3 million at 115 RBIs and a 7.2 WAR. I mean, this is the Mets team that did lose over 100 games last season. This was a very bad Mets team. And honestly, I'm surprised people aren't talking about how much Steve Cohen has failed the Mets. He has outright failed the Mets in every regard. He's boggled contract discussions. He's now boggling just this young talent right here. You got to think he signed Edwin Diaz to be the world's most expensive closer, right? Signs him to be that big money closer for multiple seasons, to be, the headliner. This is the guy, 9th inning, he comes out, it's game over, man, the Mets have won. But then you ship him off 3 seasons later, 2-3 seasons later, for a prospect that's disgruntled with his current organization and Chance Bishop. That's the big money move you made right there, to shed a lot of payroll, to get, Edwin off the books, which... kind of cruddy look right there. Let's be honest there, Steve. You're not going to win many people over in New York by trading away your premier talent, because things might not be going the best. But I get it. It's a business. Baseball, at the end of the day, is a business, and I understand that. But then you kind of get into things here where, the Mets have not made the playoffs once since Chance has been here. The last 3 seasons, the Mets have done very poor during the regular season, and they have not even come close to the playoffs. Let's multiple 100-loss seasons we're talking about here, and we're starting off this brand new season with a loss, and I don't know how the New York media is not just absolutely livid with Steve Cohen and his just inability to properly run this Mets organization, because he has entirely run this team into the ground. There is nothing about this team where you're thinking, okay, I trust his picture, I trust what he's doing. Nothing. It's just ineptitude, mismanagement. It's honestly just as bad as the Wilpons at this point, with how bad Steve Cohen is running this team. Because you gotta think, you have Soto, you have Bishop, you have Lindor. Those are your 3 big key pieces right there. Soto and Lindor are your veterans, and Chance is your nice young complementary piece to that. Chance to this is what Juan Soto was to Rendon and Steven Strasburg with the Washington Nationals. That's what he is to this group, and they can't build around that core of players and make this a contender. We don't need to win 100+ games a season. We just need to not lose 100 games a season, which I feel like shouldn't be that hard to do. That's also kind of how this double-edged sword works. You aim big and you bring in all the big premier talent, and you get the big names on the market, but then you also miss big, because then they kind of flounder big. So it's the double-edged sword here of, aim small, miss small. But you aim big, you're also missing big too. And that's kind of what the Mets are doing right now. that they're aiming for, postseason World Series aspirations, and they are, losing 100+ games. And I don't think it's the offense to blame. I think it's entirely just come down to mismanagement of pitching. I don't know what the staff is on this team, but it can't be anything good. You have to sacrifice something. That if you brought in Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor, and now you're fighting over Chance Bishop for $300,000 here, your rotation has to be pretty poor, and the bullpen can't be much better. That's what it has to be at this point, right? That Steve Cohen has thrown all of this money into offense. It's like an inverse 2011 Phillies, where the Phillies had an above average rotation, which kind of carried them, but they also had a below average offense, which then kind of came out during the postseason. But the Mets have an above average offense and a below average pitching staff, which hurts them now during the regular season, because you can't outswing your way through 162 games. That's my guess, at least. I don't know, though. I think Steve Cohen, though, has failed this team, through and through. There is so many things wrong with this team. This team should be so much better than what it is. And the fact that, the Mets have taken the very early exit to the season the last couple of years just kind of shows just how bad this team has been mismanaged, and how poorly Steve Cohen has treated this team. Because he was the savior, right? He came in, saved it from the Wilpons. He's the fan, and he's no better than the Wilpons at this point. And honestly, like I said, Steve Cohen has failed this Mets organization.